Nelson as Michael Rossi. Ryan O'Neal as Rodney Harrington. Barbara Parkins as Betty Anderson. Christopher Connelly as Norman Harrington. Patricia Morrow as Rita Harrington. James Douglas as Stephen Cord.
Susan Winter has gambled with her marriage. A few hours ago, she took advantage of Tom Winter's reaction to the visit of a welfare worker who pronounced the Winter home an ideal environment for Jill Smith and her baby. She saw Tom's bitterness, his contempt for himself. Immediately, on the pretext of a trip out of town to visit a suddenly ill friend, she left the house to Tom and Jill. Now, Susan knows her marriage is at stake, but she is betting on herself and on her intuitive understanding of her husband.
You're still awake? Well, Jean's fine. The way Art talked on the phone, I was sure I'd find her half dead when I got there. But you know men, how they panic. What'd you do that for?
Because you are a liar.
I don't know what you mean.
Well, let me spell it out for you. I called your friend, the one who had the accident, the one with all those unfortunate children who needed your tender, loving care. She was delighted to hear from me. Matter of fact, she invited us sailing this weekend. Now, suppose you tell me why you lied. What did you have in mind?
You hit me and now you shout at me. You're behaving like a madman.
It's bad enough to lie, but your reason for lying.
I simply wanted to get away. I thought it was easier to invent an innocent excuse.
Innocent? There was nothing innocent about it. Now, you deliberately invented an excuse to get out of here so I would be alone with Jill.
Oh, Tom, really?
Is that supposed to be shock?
I mean, clue me in. I do not know what you're talking about.
The plan, Susan, the plan. The one you have been hatching ever since you brought that girl in here.
I don't want to listen to you.
Now, you will listen.
You're going to hit me again? You want me to turn the other cheek?
You'd like that, wouldn't you? Another indication, however small, that I'm not fit to be a minister. And that's what you've been getting at all along, isn't it? And when you couldn't talk me out of it on any rational level, you concocted this twisted plan of yours.
For what purpose? I mean, really, what do you think I expected to achieve?
The perfect setup. An unhappy husband alone in the house with a young, attractive, extremely vulnerable girl. Now, Susan, how was it supposed to end?
Suppose you tell me.
You wanted something to happen. Something that would drive me out of the church so fast, I wouldn't walk. I'd run to the nearest exit.
Oh, Tom, we really have lost touch. I suppose it doesn't make any difference, but I left here because I was trying to save our marriage.
Save?
I had to get out of this house. I had to be myself. Try to figure out why our marriage has grown so bitter. If I didn't, Tom, I would start to drink, and then I would just drink the problem away.
So you told a little lie and took off.
That's right, I lied. I wish I could say it served some useful purpose. But I just kept seeing you sitting alone in the chapel that night. And all I could think of was that it was my fault. I'd made you doubt everything that you ever believed in.
I couldn't have believed very strongly.
Tom, you're not a saint.
I am not anything. Now, you've seen to that.
I deserve that. But not for the reasons you think. It's true I've tried to get you to leave the ministry. And it's obvious that I don't like this way of life. I've not been much help to you. I'm moody, I drink a lot, but I do love you. I really do. But if you think that I used Jill to set some sort of seductive trap...
You brought her into this house.
I also ordered her out of this house.
Was that part of the plan? To make it look more spontaneous? You knew I wouldn't let her leave.
Why do you want to keep her here?
She needed a home.
Is that the only reason? Or are you just using her baby as an excuse to keep Jill here?
What's all this? Well, I would call it perfect timing. See? Oops. Perfect timing. Good morning, madam.
Good morning.
Breakfast for two.
Why not?
This table, I feel, has a lovely view of the Nelsons' garage. Oh, Carolyn, I thought you were still asleep. I know. But I thought that I would take your advice and have a nourishing breakfast before storming the groves of the academe, or graves. Mrs. Harding in phys ed says that one must fuel up in the morning. There must be a better way of saying that.
Well, I'm delighted. Here, let me fix you some bacon and eggs.
It's a bit too nourishing, isn't it?
Oh? Well, how about some high-protein cereal?
What's the deal?
Well, this is a nice change. Our having breakfast together.
Wait. I have still more drastic changes to make.
Oh, really?
Yes. I've been awful throughout this whole solid mess. I've made the divorce at least 10 times as bad as it is.
Well, Carolyn, you've been hurt. And when we're hurt, we sometimes can't help the things that we do. You love your father and you love me. And you can accept
The fact that you and he don't love each other anymore.
That's right.
Would you like to hear something kind of wild?
Mm-hmm.
I used to imagine a scene, very much like one in a film. You and I would be sitting around reading or something at night. And the doorbell would ring. And you would answer it. And Dad would be standing there. And you and he would simply look at each other without saying anything. When all of a sudden... Well, how ridiculous could I be?
Oh, Carolyn. I almost wish it could have happened that way just for your sake.
No, that's all right. That was a long time ago. At least 2 days ago when I was still a child.
Was that how long it takes to grow up these days?
If you've got a father who levels with you. I've been very rough on you, and it took Dad to straighten me out, to put things in their proper perspective.
What kind of things?
Things like that you are free to go out with whomever you wish to go out with.
I see.
It's your right. And I've got to stop acting like some kind of sour-faced dueña whenever I see you with, well, say, for instance, Dr. Rossi.
That was quite a talk you had with your father. Oh, Carolyn, I was afraid you'd be upset when you found out that he was leaving. I thought you'd be harder to reach than ever.
Well, I'll still be seeing quite a good deal of him.
Yes, you will. Of course you will.
And actually, his leaving town makes a great deal of sense.
Oh, Carolyn. Oh, you do sound so grown up this morning.
Well, I hope you mean that because, well, now that Dad is leaving town, I'm not going to be able to go running to him with all my problems, and I'm going to have to start making some decisions of my own and being responsible for them.
Hey, I'm your mother, remember? And I'm still here to help you.
I know, but, well, you have your things to think about, and I can't be a burden. And, well, as you said, I am grown up, and, well, I have my rights, too.
Well, you make it sound very formal. You sound like the Declaration of Independence.
Well, it is, I suppose. At least as far as my deciding who I go out with and, whether I can be trusted.
I trust you, Carolyn, but I said you. sound grown up. That's not being grown up. There's a big difference.
No, Mom, let's not let semantics get in the way of our beautiful new understanding. Oh, my God, it's really late. Run. I really have enjoyed our talk very much. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Mechanic on duty?
Hello, Stephen.
I came to see my clients, Mr. Harrington and Mr. Harrington.
They're not here.
Too bad. Where are they?
They went to deliver a bike.
When will they be back?
Shortly.
All right, I'll wait.
Well, it could be a long wait.
You mean it'll be a long wait to shortly? Come on, you're contradicting yourself.
Stephen, why do you keep coming round here?
Business?
Oh, stop it. This isn't a big corporation that requires the full-time attention of a lawyer. Next thing you'll be taking your calls here.
Do you think I'd come around here for any other reason besides business?
Stephen, if you do have something for the boys, just leave it.
I don't like doing business that way.
I must say, you are thorough. There isn't even one little scrap of paper that you don't come running over here with.
You know, Rod and Norman nearly got into a bad situation because they didn't know every little scrap of paper they were signing. My policy is to show them everything.
Sure.
I'm here now with another scrap of paper. A scrap I found in Boston.
Now you've even taken to importing them.
Which serves to increase the value, particularly this one.
Stephen, what is it?
Oh, now you're interested.
Well, is it something they have to sign?
Already been signed. A promissory note.
Oh? Well then, Stephen, who owes what?
Either Rod or Norm owe anything.
Well, then there's really nothing to worry about, is there?
Maybe.
Stephen, can we stop this?
Would you like to see this? I hadn't intended showing it to you.
Well, then I don't want to see it. If Rod wants me to know what's in it, he'll tell me.
He'll tell you. Maybe.
You know something, Stephen? You're like the angel of death. It'll be a cold day when you bring good news.
You know, your attitude toward me is a bore. Here I am trying to bring something out in the open, something that might have an effect on this business, on your lives. Now, all of you should see this. All of you. Now, Betty, drive out with me. It's important. I don't feel like waiting.
They asked me to stay here.
Well, all right, stay here, but just tell me where they are and I'll be on my way. Well?
What does that promissory note mean?
Well, that's for you to interpret. You and Rod and Norman, together. I'm simply a messenger carrying something that should be read about and thought about.
Let's go, Stephen.